with conversation.
Whatever, we've had just regular handguns, but as we see these home invasions, how they picked up and what people are coming into your house with, you have to level that playing field in such a way that it puts you able to, ward off some of these people from coming in.
Talk show where we're kicking it and having fun on inspirational radio. We the talk show, kicking it and having fun. So turn your radio up.
So, Mr. Dynamite.
He gonna put that hat on.
Let's talk. Let's talk politics.
It's coming down.
So, Marshall, I like I said, I agree with you. As a Christian, I do think it's a people issue. But some facts that I've seen, right? Right now the United States we're having the most mass shootings over the last couple of years, and they really kind of coincide with us loosening up regulations, right? So I'll tell you this, Mr. Dynamite, because I know you a gun man. I mean, you want that AR, and I'll let you, share your point of view with it. Matter of fact, I'll let you share your point of view first, because I know you a real big Texan and proponent of making sure you stand your ground. So, what's your thoughts?
I definitely, understand the mindset of a lot of people that we need gun control and gun laws and everything like that. But it's got to be measured in such a way that, it levels the playing field. Because when you get too restrictive, with the gun laws and everything like that, you put law-abiding citizens at a disadvantage, because the people that are breaking into your house didn't go buy their guns at Oshman's or Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever. They got their guns from somewhere, in the hood, or, from somewhere black market. And so, and they're getting guns that are powerful. They're not getting, revolvers or regular. They're getting like assault rifles and stuff that is really gonna do some damage. And so, us, for the longest, as citizens or whatever, we've had just regular handguns. But as we see these home invasions, how they picked up and what people are coming into your house with, you have to level that playing field in such a way that it puts you able to ward off some of these people from coming in. Right. I've seen YouTube videos or TikTok or whatever where these people are trying to steal packages off people's porch, and the guy comes out with an AR, and and the guy's like, oh my God, I dropped the package. Whereas if you just came out with a little 22 or something, he might, still try to go ahead and take off with it, But already when somebody comes out the house with an assault rifle, you got their package in your hand, you're not going to win that battle. It's not going to happen. So we have to just put ourselves in position, as citizens or whatever, to be able to, stand our ground or do what we need to do. Now, I don't, in that same breath, believe that it's, prudent or necessary for any of us to be riding around with the protection, out here on the streets. It is not necessary. And so, there's a time and a place for everything, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
What I would say, Dion, is, I agree to a certain extent. I still don't agree that we need semi-automatic weapons in the hands of layman people. I mean, I've had training in those type of things, and I can tell you that it's not something that I think everyone should have access to, no matter what.
Fully automatic weapon.
Yeah, fully automatic or even semi-automatic, and those big bullets, But I think my concern is, and this is again like the political part of it for me, is the regulations, man. Every 7 years you gotta renew your license, or depending on what state you're in, 7, 10 years, 12 years. So you got to take another driver's test. You got to, there's a process with that just to make sure you can still drive. You know what I mean? I think, when we talk about leaders in politics, it would be really good. Why do we feel like we need less regulation for a weapon that can cause this type of damage that we're talking about, today? And the mental, capacity that it takes to have that. Someone brought up, that, and again, it goes back to the people issue, right? People kill people, right? And so I think they said something about, if you give an evil person a butter knife, they're gonna try to kill you. Well, the difference with a butter knife is, you come at me with a butter knife, you probably gonna be limping away, But an AR or a weapon like that, that's different. And I get what they were trying to say, and I think it's twofold. I think the leaders of our nation definitely need to take this a little bit more serious as far as, what does it need to look like if people are going to have an AR, like what does that look like? Like in Texas, we can walk around here with an AR hanging off our shoulder. And, one of the things that I hear a lot of, government officials say is, if more good people have guns, then they can fight off the bad people. Well, if everybody walking around with an AR, it becomes kind of hard to tell who the good and the bad people are.
Okay.
And shoot, depending on what day you catch somebody on, they might flip from good to bad just because they had a bad day. So, I just think that the conversation needs to happen politically, right? And I think it's across the aisle. I was telling Lasagna earlier before you got on, I do think it's a financial thing. I think there's a lot of money in weaponry. The United States has the most weapons in the world. Like right here, we got the most bullets. We got the most guns. We can shoot them up, right? That's what kind of makes us a world power. Because we got the weapons to back up what we're saying. But when it comes down to children dying, to people dying on an increased level, I think it's really too many times that we have to keep talking about this. We were just talking a month or two about what happened in Texas. And, it's just happening way too much for us not to be making some of the right choices there. So that's the political part. I'll take my hat off.
Before you move on, though, one thing that I would say would be a good thing is, that if you're gonna have a weapon like that, you should have some kind of special licensing and or registration or what have you. And if you get certain type of crimes or even charges brought against you, then, you should have that part of it taken away. Because here's the thing, usually certain type of crimes lead to certain other type of crimes, right? And if it's the crime dealing with like a mental health issue or what have you, definitely, your ability to get, keep, or purchase these type of weapons needs to be stripped. And that way we can kind of police that a lot better, at that particular point. Because, if we just, get these type of people and punish them for that particular instance and let them go, then, they're free to, accelerate that type of illness or that type of thought or that type of behavior, until it escalates into what we're seeing. Now, unfortunately, some of these mass shooters or what have you don't have any kind of criminal past, don't have any kind of record. So it's hard to have a perfect system that polices this, totally 100% across the board. But I think something like that would go a long way in kind of, making some of these situations a lot more harder to access. You know what I mean? By having these kind of restrictions and saying, hey, you know, you can get this type of gun, but you're going to have to register it with us and, you know, show proof that you got it every so often or whatever the case may be, or take some continuation classes or whatever the case may be. And, you know, on the flip side of that, if you get this type of crime or arrest on your record or whatever, then, you know, it'll show up whenever you try to buy one of these guns. It'll be in the system. Nah, this person can't buy because they got, you know, blah, blah, blah on their record.
Right. No, I mean,
that's just what I think. But I ain't got no hat. I'm just telling you what I think.
You ain't got no hat?
I ain't got no hat tonight.
No. But see, Dion, and the reason why I wanted you to be up here is because, you know, I've known you for a while, so I know how you feel about, you know, your weapons, man. But you and I, for example, being on both ends of this spectrum, can have a conversation like this and really get to the meat and figure out, you know, what's needed. You know what I mean? And that's politically what's supposed to happen. But, you know, it doesn't happen that way. And
both sides want too much.
Right. Both sides want, you know, some people don't want the guns at all, and no one's willing to give anything, you know, to that situation. Because I think, you know, and this is a problem, you know, that Christians have as well. We want to be right. I think sometimes it's more important to us to be right about something rather than to be to have the truth about it or the righteousness about that situation. You know what I mean? The fact is, people who aren't supposed to be dying from these type of guns are dying, and you know, what are we going to do about it? You know, it doesn't really matter who's paying who, what's money. Like, we see what's happening. You know, there needs to be something with that. So, you know, I want to switch gears for a second. The other topic that I have up here for us to discuss is,